Season's over and we're back at home where it all started, in this room. For my old viewers, you guys will have seen this before. I'm sure you guys familiar with this room, and we're back for a few months, maybe 2 months. I'm just here in Europe, in the UK, whilst I'm on holiday. I'm taking a break. And yeah, the season's done. What a season it's been. We won a major. We won, I think, 2 regionals or 3 regionals or something like that. Got second like 4 times or 3 times. Incredible season, amazing season. Not a world champion, unfortunately. Maybe next season, I hope. But the world champion are these guys: Radisson, Zen, and Alpha, Team Vitality. And we're going to be taking a look at Zen in particular because, wow, in the last series of this World Championship in the Grand Finals, I have never seen anything like this, I swear to God. In the last 2 games especially, we're going to be taking a look at what Zen does, because I couldn't believe my eyes what I was watching. When I was watching live, especially in the last game, you'll see, I was flabbergasted. That's the word I'll choose. It was incredible. We're going to be taking, a closer look at why I think, people think Zen is the most mechanical player, and I don't disagree. I think he's very clearly the most mechanical player. I don't think it's particularly that close. I also think he's the smartest. And I think he's the smartest player in the world, and I think it's easy to see. For some reason, some people are still debating, if there's a better player. I don't think, it's even close to being a debate. And we'll take a look at why. I want to point out Zen being an underratedly physical player. And that's one thing I don't think people give him credit for, how good he is off the ball. Little stuff like this. He goes for a bump on Rise in this position. Most players would just rotate behind Radisson here and just completely leave Rise. That's a fact. Most players would do that. Zen goes for a bump mid-air. If we take a close look, it didn't actually make a difference on Rise in this scenario because he had 0 boost. But if Rise had more than 0 boost here, he might be able to get a block on Radisson's touch, and that could lead to a counter attack for BDS or just a loss of possession for Team Vitality, right? And that's really, incredible that Zen kind of notices this and just goes for a bump here. You'll see him do that, a lot of times in this game. An incredible play, by the way, by Alpha and Radisson. That is just unreal. Radisson gets the block forward. Not particularly looking for Alpha, I'd say, just trying to get the ball forward, start some, aggression, and Alpha spots him and, finds that back pass to him. And that was definitely a good first goal to open up the video for Vitality. Going back to Zen here, again, straight back to his point of view, and he gets another bump. He can't go for the ball with 12 boost. What does he do? Get in the way of Seikoo, be physical, make sure his teammate has a free ball to still with. Obviously, that bump there, pretty standard, a lot of players will go for. But you'll see him do that a lot of times. And, I've got to give credit to the entire team, of course. Vitality, I think, is the best team I've ever personally seen compared to the rest of the competition. Zen again here, sticking on the ball for about 10 seconds, grabs their corner boost, just really making it awkward for them. But like I was saying, got to give credit to just, the entire team, not just Zen, of course. Alpha, Radisson, Alpha's slotting shots like that 10 times out of 10. It's incredible. And Radisson's really putting in a lot of dirty work that people do see and people do, give him credit for, which is good. But yeah, this team is going to be, well, in my opinion, it's the second best team of all time. It's personally the best team I've ever seen, but of course, I think Dignitas, the original team, did it for longer, so you still got to put them first. But if Vitality come back next season and, they don't have to even particularly win anything or win any, world championship, they just have to be competitive and potentially, win a couple tournaments at the start, and they might cross over into the best team, of all time. I want to point out that Team Vitality, I wouldn't say they are a passing-based team at all. I think they're actually one of the least passing-based teams we've seen be good this season. I think, ourselves in Genji and K-Corp are way more passing-based than these guys, especially us, of course. These guys actually prefer to play just completely behind each other. They stack behind each other each time, and they just try and win 50s forward from what I've seen and use their, how fast they are and how quick they read the play and how much confidence they have to be quicker and to get onto attack and stay there. They don't really choose to pass too much. They choose to get hard clears like this every single time. And they, of course, that one, Alpha gets on the top of it, and he actually almost scores that, which would have been incredible. But yeah, that's one thing I noticed with Vitality. They don't choose to pass all too much. They're just extremely fast at getting on top of each other's hits. And I would say that's different to passing. It's, you know, being there quick for the 50s. It's still team play, but it's a different style, right? It's more individual-based team play, I'd say. Alpha, when I saw this shot, I was like, yeah, they've really just won 3 regionals, a major, and a world championship, because this is 2-0 in the series at this point. Alpha crown pinches it in to send them 3-1 up with a 2-goal lead with 3 minutes left. It's just, I couldn't believe what I was watching. This grand final was, I'd say BDS could have played better. I think they, you know, perhaps would have been disappointed in their performance in the grand final, but, you know, to even make it to the grand final, especially, you know, 2 major tournaments in a row is incredible from them. I do think that they could have played a lot better in this final, but, you know, I don't think anyone was beating Vitality, you know, to be honest with you. I don't know if you guys, you know, had the same thought watching it, but yeah, I do want to notice, or I do want to, point out and make you guys notice that throughout this replay, try and find a moment where Zen takes the ball off of his teammate or plays selfishly. You might find one. I found 0, but I don't think I've seen this guy, at least in these 2 replays that I'm going to show you today, play selfishly at one moment. And it's genuinely insane, because you would think that a player who's this talented and clearly ahead of everyone on the ball would try and take the ball, you know, more and try and, you know, take over the game in that sense. He really doesn't at all. He kind of just lets his teammates get these touches. He understands that if he lets his teammates get these touches and plays for the team, it's going to benefit him in the long run. He can play better, you know, in due time in the later course of the game. You know what I mean? That he doesn't try and get on the ball and score instantly. He's always looking for his moment. Again, he understands he's not beating Seikoo. He just tries to get a bump, tries to make him awkward and get him off the ball. Pretty good fake by Rise, actually. If we pay attention here to Rise doesn't try and touch his ball. He just fakes out a shot to make Radisson pre-jump and then lets Monkey come through. Radisson gets a 50, Seikoo follows up. Really nice play by Team BDS. Sends them into a 1-goal deficit, but still closest to the game. And that's what matters. They get back in it. Again, I don't want to, speak down upon BDS, but I still thought, like, a goal will go in the next, I think, 20 seconds or something. I still thought this game didn't feel close. Do you know what I mean? Even when it was 3-3. I've never had as much confidence in a team to win, basically. It's really weird. Definitely a bad misread by Zen, but obviously, it's too kind of aggressive to go for that ball. Of course, he could have just waited, but even the best make mistakes, of course. And we're going, there's 2 minutes left, and like I said, even if it's 3-3, really didn't feel like this game was, I wasn't worried for Vitality at all. Zen, again, just tries to win these 50s forward, instantly gets back. Notice how fast his recoveries are every single time. And he plays extremely defensive. He's very, very good in defense. He doesn't try and, force anything to happen. He kind of lets things come to him and reacts faster than everyone else, and stops everything pretty well, I will say. I think that every player, should be watching some of these replays in the off-season and trying to learn from this guy, because, yeah, right now he's far ahead. How long will he stay there? I don't know. I'm not sure. I think over the next few years he'll always be one of the best. But, players in Rocket League, it's hard to stay at the top. It's difficult. Only a few have done it. Or, Vatira and Monkey Moon, really, and First Killer have stayed at the top for, the last 3 years, really. Or, well, 2 years if you count Vatira, of course. But again, Zen, always playing last back, because he doesn't make mistakes on little stuff like this. He transitions the ball so effectively into from defense into offense every single time. And like a lot of players can do this play, but it's the fact that he does it so perfectly every time. He takes out one player and he makes such a threatening attack. Of course, he's playing against one of the best defenders in the world in Monkey Moon, who baits out the play perfectly, but it's still threatening and they still have to react and defend pretty well to stop, you know, that attack from the ball getting mid to Zen's teammate. Again, starts another attack. He always gets another touch. He always gets another touch every single time. That's one of the best things he'll have about him. Again, vitality. Alpha potentially, it's definitely tough, but potentially could boom this ball to the wall to Zen. Yeah, he could actually. It doesn't actually look that tough from his angle. He can just slow down and boom it to the wall to Zen. But vitality seems to prefer to play solo, you know. And it's not that they don't play as a team because of this, but they just play solo at the start. And then they transition, you know, from 50s and onwards. Bit of a bad clear by Zen, but again, he just gets back instantly. Turns extremely quick here, and he would be back for the save if he needed to be. Alpha's got him covered. Radisson goes for an edge, but obviously gets stopped, and that's maybe one of the only mistakes you'll see from Zen. He kind of, you know, forces Alpha into a 2v1, who he does deal with it perfectly, but could have been bad there. Watch how Zen deals with this ball. Extremely difficult challenge, by the way, because you can't cover everything. You have to kind of predict what they're going to do. Because Seiku has a great opportunity here. He's played this really well. He can go high over Zen and get the pass to Monkey Moon, or he can go low and get the pass to Monkey Moon. And Zen has to predict what he's going to do, because most players will fake one of the options and go for the other. And he really puts Sky in a position to be able to deal with both, and it's not easy to do this. I swear to you, it's not easy to do that. It looks easy, but it's really not. BDS almost scored in 0 seconds there. I will say I thought that was going in when I watched it live. But we go to overtime, and again, BDS, they need to win this game. Zen's getting perfect clears that don't touch the ceiling, you know, with 20 boost, and you know, they have to win this game if they want to stay in the series. Like I said, it's 2-0 in the series to Vitality. One more game would put them on triple match point. Extremely hard to beat the best team in the world when they're on triple match point, so must win for BDS. And Vitality are just kind of playing calmly. You'll see Zen, he's not rushing to get boost. He's on 30 boost. He prefers to hold positions with low boost than to be in bad positions with high boost. And that's one thing that, you know, lower ranked players should be able to take away. Again, he's not rushing to get 100. Only now, when he realizes his teammate has a free ball, he now leaves. And now he gets boost. Yeah. Again, you'll see it loads of times. Vitality, they, even when they have high boost, like Radisson does here, potentially could catch this ball. They just get hard clears. They put the ball in awkward spots. And I don't know if they remind you too much of Team BDS from RRCSX, but they do for me a lot. They just win purely off 50s, winning the ball forward and speed and getting hard touches. They have that individual flair in Zen that BDS, they had in Monkey Moon, but it's different. Zen is very far ahead mechanically. Monkey Moon at the time was just way more solid than everyone. But Zen has that extra flair that adds to Vitality's, you know, kind of skill set, and so does Alpha. But they really remind you, or remind me of BDS, to be honest with you, at the core. Alpha gets a really nice touch off the backboard. He finds Zen in the middle. He's not trying to hit this ball on target or anything. He puts it in the one spot Monkey Moon can't get. And Zen double taps it with the ground from a 2-foot aerial. Fair enough. And this game genuinely is I'd say the scariest game I've seen from an individual player. Now, it's not the most perfect game. Zen makes mistakes in this game, but he creates so much offense in this game. It is unbelievable. Alpha forced out 50 and goes for a bump. Vitality, extremely bump heavy team in my opinion. Just isolates a player, goes for the bump. Again, he hits it, gives Zen the open net. Great shot from Zen at the start to, you know, force Monkey Moon's bad touch from the bump from, you know, Alpha. But just a great start all around. But you'll see, like I said before, in my opinion, not the most perfect game from Zen, but the scariest, because he creates so much offense. Just watch this game and see how many times you'll say, wow, you Yeah, I mean, because when I was watching this, everything he did seemed perfect in offense. Perfect recoveries. A tip for low ranked players: if you guys watch, extremely mechanical players like this, they will always move their car in the direction of their momentum, right? That gives you the fastest recovery. So Zen pinches the ball here. His car is going backwards. If you notice, his car is going backwards here. So he holds reverse. And now he drives backwards down the wall, half flips out, and keeps his momentum perfectly every single time. Radisson fakes one guy out, isolates the last man, goes for the bump. And this is what Vitality do so well. He knows that, if he gets a touch here, he's probably getting dunked. If Monkey Moon gets a touch here, he probably won't, which he didn't. But even if he does, it's not really going anywhere. So he fakes this out. Now it's a 1v1, isolates the last guy, instantly jumps because he knows where Zen is going. He's going high, and he's going for his signature shot. Ceiling pinch into backboard, double tap. Last goal of the World Championship. And of course, it's, pretty fitting, I'd say. Now, that is the last goal. They don't score for the next 4 minutes, 19 seconds. But again, just see the offense that these players, even Alpha, not even just them, all of them create. It's ridiculous. I thought Radisson got off the upset here, off the ceiling, but I think he slightly missed it. I thought he was trying to go for a pogo at the end. He might have been. At this point, I was just amazed, to be honest. I just couldn't believe what I was seeing. The players in this game were extremely far ahead at this time. Alpha almost scores a double tap from the ground, going off the ceiling. And look at this. This is why I think that not only is Zen the most mechanical, but he's also the smartest. And I think you normally have players like that. A lot of people think the most mechanical players, they're not obviously very smart, because you can't be smart and mechanical. No, that's just not the case. Some of the most mechanical players are usually the most smartest as well. Zen goes for an air duel bump in defense. He goes for an air duel bump in defense because if he goes for this bump, they can't hit the ball. So now Alpha just has a free touch and they win the 50 forward. And now, they get out of defense. They can maybe start an attack of their own. I mean, when I saw that, I was like, okay, man, fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, you gotta start agile bumping everyone on the pitch. Zen, again, creates a counter-attack off, a very fast pass from his teammate, just quickly counters, sends a threatening shot on target, does get stopped, and just watch this. Just watch this. He somehow got that almost in. Bear in mind, when I saw this, I saw Radisson pop it. I was like, oh my god, that's going to be just a goal, because how is Zen going to react to this in time? He somehow reads it, reacts to it, and perfectly gets the pop-up. Here, I thought he was going to go for a backflip and get a reset. He faked that and goes low. Radisson pushes forward for the bump. I mean, this is like, okay, Zen's got the ball, I'm just going to go try and clear his way. Zen realizes Rise is going to get touch. He slows down his 50. He slows down his flip. He doesn't flip yet. He flips now after Rise gets the touch. He's baited him into passing him. The ball basically almost gets a shot on target. Of course, the shot in the end was weak. But I was watching that and I was like, why is that? How is he doing that? How is he getting that on target to a point where it's like, okay, this kind of could go in. Again, extremely physical player. He goes for Temo on the sidewall, just, on the way back every time. I swear to God, guys, I don't know how there's a debate between, in some people's eyes, of who the best player in the world is right now. It's pretty clear. And it's fine to admit that. I think pros should admit that, because there's always going to be a best player in the world. And it doesn't mean he's going to be the best, in the future. But right now, you've got to say it is. You've got to, kind of appreciate good Rocket League when you see it, and learn from it. That's the best course of action that everyone can take at this point, in my opinion. I think that the best player in the world and the best team will change a lot next season, again, like it has this season. But this is clearly the best right now. He gets a block when oh my days, man. I just remember my reactions to everything because I like, this is probably my favorite game of Rocket League I've ever watched. I was watching it in the crowd with my family and I was like, just look at this. Gets the block on Monkey. He goes for the bump. If he got that and they scored off it, that'd be one of my favorite goals of all time, genuinely. Just the way he like carries on his car perfectly every single time. His momentum is perfect, genuinely. And he's extremely defensive when he needs to be. He sits very far back. Reminds me of Vitura a lot. Threatening on the counter every single time. I think there's one more player in this game that I was like, oh yeah, it's coming up actually. See this, he could have scored. Maybe he should have scored from that angle. You'd think of players like Zen at this point, but I was like, hey, he can miss a shot. That's fine. He can have one. Does get bumped there. Obviously his teammate is back to cover it. I just wanna. He delays the 50 perfectly. Rise is gonna hand him the ball. He's gonna slow down his 50. Gets a free ball now, or you know, a free follow up. Look at this touch in a second. I thought he was going for a bump. He skims it. My opinion, probably not the best, you know, thing to go for, but they're just so confident at this point. It doesn't matter what they do, it's going to work. And just watch this. For people who don't understand how stupid this is, as in like stupidly good, Rise is going for the bump. He avoids it not only by just jumping over it, he avoids it by jumping and predicting where Seiku's going to touch it, which that in itself isn't hard, but to do those things together is ridiculous. And then get a touch where no one can follow up except him, who then gets it off the backboard for a free shot from his teammate that probably should have been better. Alpha has played incredible, but that could have gone in, you know what I mean? That could have been a better shot. If you don't see how ridiculous that play is, genuinely, I can't, you know, show anything else at that point. And nothing that BDS do is going to get through at this point. If you played Rocket League or anything at a high level, you'll know that like you will just realize that it's not your day at this point, and that's not like a lot of like every player will think like just little stuff like this, just not even Monkey not getting this boost because he gets slightly bumped at the bottom of the wall. Like it's just not their day, and it's clearly Vitality's day, and that's not in, you know, saying they got lucky. They were that good in this moment. Sometimes you just have days like that. They played incredible, and that's game. Should have been a goal at the end with an edge or bump pass from Zen, but who cares? It's 3 seconds left and they're celebrating already. And yeah, in my opinion, one of my favorite games, if not my favorite game that I've ever seen. Just again, like I said, not the most perfect game in terms of how many mistakes was made, but the amount of threatening things or things that just made you go, yeah, okay, we're watching the best player in the world, was outstanding. That was, yeah, I don't know, my favorite game I've ever seen. If it was yours, you have to let me know. If it wasn't, if you can give me a better one, then please do. But yeah, that was incredible. Vitality, congrats on being world champs. I'm going to be working extremely hard over the next 12 months to you know, get up there myself. But overall, a fantastic season from myself and my teams as well, and from everyone. I think it was a good season. I really enjoyed it. But guys, that is going to be it for this video. We're going to be back. I think I said Mac. We're going to be back making videos, making more content. We have more time now that the off season is upon us. If you did enjoy it, please leave a like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.